Hello everyone and welcome to this Hangout. In this Hangout I will show you how to create a fully AJAX enabled application which will load the page only once and will continue request additional pages using the AJAX requests. Turning our project of Lost and Found into a fully rich web application. And I will also explain my concept about how HTML could be just as good as JSON. You will find all the series of these Hangouts and tutorials on agilettoolkit.org/tutorial. And today Bob is helping me with questions and just talking with me. Armin will be joining us next week. So hi, Bob.
Hi, welcome all. And I'm curious again, and I think the audience is also curious again about this tutorial. For
I will. The first thing I do, because we have switched to the GitHub version of Agile Toolkit, I'm going to update it and see if there's any changes in our Lost and Found projects. Nothing. Changes in ATK for sure. And okay. So we are up to date. So let me just quickly look at what's happening here. And first of all, we have a menu up here, and when I click menu, you see we are going across multiple pages, and every time the whole interface is being reloaded. If I'm working with CRUDs, then the CRUD is capable of reloading itself. But
Romans,
yeah,
I think we don't see your screen now. Is that correct? So,
yeah, I'll share it.
Okay, great.
So CRUDs individually, they can reload themselves, but it's not happening on a global level. So what we want to do is we want to create an application which never reloads, which only loads once. And as we go through the pages, it will load additional stuff, but not initially. Agile Toolkit has a really nice mechanism to simply enable that. And it has something to do with the ATK loader. Remember what ATK loader was? It was like a widget which allowed us to load content easier. Okay, and the first thing, let me just set up a testing playground on, let's say, on an index page. So for now, I just have this thing in here. I will just change this slightly by removing that, and also page, let's say page 1, page 2, and we need a now this is probably worth mentioning. If I want to create an index page for a multi-page structure, so what I'm doing here, I'm not sure if I explained it before, but a page class allow in Agile Toolkit. CMS core. I think it will not do us any harm. But anyway, let's start. So I'm inside a single page class, I can create a number of subclasses which are actually implemented by functions. And as with any Agile Toolkit object, the init method is called properly, but then it will additionally call a page underscore and the subpage. So for example, if I specify page index, let's try 1, if I specify it like this, it will end up in here. This and let's say h1 page 1. So now I don't need to add a new class, I simply need to add a new method inside this index page to have page 2. Okay, now the question is what happens with if I add something inside init. Let's say I'll add another header with a test. And it is going to appear on both pages, so page 1 and page 2. So if we want something to appear only on one page, we need to create, sorry, on the index page, we need page index, like that. However, if okay, if I define this method, there is an internal check which says your subpage name matches your page class name, and PHP assumes this is a constructor. So the class is page index and the function is page index. Therefore, it's not correctly working. So to make it work, what was the init main page is the alternative for page index. If I define that, it works properly. So it says page 1 here. If I go to index page, it says test. So now we have a couple of pages, test, page 1, page 2. Let me also add a button on this page, which will redirect us to the other page. Button. And if it's clicked, so I would do something like univ. And now what you would write usually? Would you write location here or redirect? Because there are two methods, it's redirect as well. And this API URL. Okay, so what happens now if I click this? I'm redirected to page 1, and I can make a similar button to return back. Go to index, or I don't need to write index, I can write this, and go to page 2. We'll also put inside here. And from this page, we'll allow, let's say, just to go to index. So we have a kind of internal navigation system. Go to page 2, go to index, page 1, index. We are navigating. But again, it's not using the AJAX for now, it's just using the regular redirects. To load something with AJAX, typically you need this loader thing, but there is a nicer way around it. And I will first show you the implementation of this redirect. So here's how it works. If the ATK loader add-on is loaded and we have a tag inside our content which says content, that's ID, and it has class of a loader, then instead of doing the location, which it does at the moment, it will automatically call this method page, which will load using the ATK loader. So the content of the page will be loaded using AJAX. And ATK for loader already knows how to properly extract it. So let's go ahead and change our shared file to meet those conditions. And really, the first thing is to find where our content is and put div around with content ID. Okay, so that's done. Let's see if it works. It probably wouldn't work yet. Yeah, it doesn't work yet. And the second condition is if we go to the front end, and we need to add a loader on this ID. So first of all, let me go inside Inspector and show you how this content looks like. There it is, ID equals content. To load the loader on top of that, I'm calling GES true. Okay, for loader. But I'm also specifying the selector. Okay, let's refresh and see what we will have now. Okay, now we have content, but you see there is a class for ATK loader. And since we have this class, you see that I'm now going from one page to another, but the URL stays the same, and the rest of the page is not changing. So that's now being loaded using the AJAX. If I go inside my inspector here and log all the requests which are going through, you will see that now it's just requesting the next page, and inside there is a very simple dependencies for the JavaScript, if there are any. It binds the buttons JavaScript, and there's a really simple HTML here which explains to us what needs to be on the page. So the take of Agile Toolkit to Ajaxify. Sorry, is there any questions, Bob? Do you understand how it is?
So far there are no questions, Romans, but it's also going very fast. So
very fast is what? Pace?
So this will show the AJAX is in a div, or is it in an iframe, or how does it work?
It is in div, yeah. So it's you saw that content div, which we added a class on top of it before. That's content, yeah. So this thing, when I click the button, it reloads. You see there is a content changed inside, but the rest it remains the same. And for example, there is ID, lost and found index. This is our page ID. If I go someplace else, it's being swapped properly.
Okay, and there were two conditions needed for this. So could you repeat the two?
Yes. So the first condition is that we need a div. Yeah. So we need actually container where the pages can be safely loaded, and it needs to be called content. And the second condition is that we initialize it with a loader right away. Let me show you a few more capabilities of loader. So first of all, I can turn a debug. So your sound changes very much. Sorry. Try to do something about that. How is it now? I'll try to speak into the microphone, and hopefully it is not too loud. Here, this is the standard jQuery UI widget we have here. As you know, with widgets, you can pass an argument to it, an array, or an object, we call that, and you can pass some parameters. Come on. So let's try first, and it will be called debug true. Okay, I'm refreshing my old page, and now you see this yellow thing on here, and I can go across the pages. So if I click on the URL, it tells me which page was loaded last. Go to page 2, for example, check the URL, it says page 2. So there is some debug in here. I can also, I'm not sure, this is like the initialization of it. So, but there is another curious thing, and it's support for history. So something which Vadim has added only, I think yesterday, and I did a fix today to fully enable it. And history allows us not only to go from one page to another, but also update the URL as we go. So let's let me show you how you can enable that. Okay. history. Okay, now okay, let's see if that works. I'm on the page 1, so if I go to page 2, it still uses AJAX. You see, it reloads it, but it also updates my URL in here. That's pretty cool, right? If I select something in here and click on 2, you see my selection is still there because the browser didn't refresh that. The other cool thing is that I can use the back button, and it again loads this AJAX area properly without refreshing the whole page. So I can go back and forth. Now all the pages loaded nicely, and I didn't need to do much in there. It just works out of the box.
And this is really great, because the disadvantage of AJAX in my idea was also that you cannot navigate directly to that page. But with this, you can copy paste your URL and still go to the
and now if I click refresh, for example, here, it refreshes. Well, okay, I'll switch the debug off, but I'm on that page where I'm left off. So, probably this wouldn't work with the older browsers, so they wouldn't see the history, but the AJAX part would still work pretty good. Now let's also look inside one other important thing, and so if you look at what files have been loaded, so we have like ADK, custom JavaScript, and okay, let me go to the bottom. So I go to index, I go back, it just loads that particular file. If, for example, my page changes, and on the page 2, let me add a form. Form, and just a form with no fields with a submit button. So if I go to index now, and then I go to page 2, you see the form, it loaded the form.js, so it loads necessary JavaScript files before it loads the page. So it basically handles all these things, and now form submit again. Like we all the time we remain inside this this AJAX environment, and it loads necessary components as we go through the project. Okay, so that is cool, but you might ask what happens with the menu, because the menu is, I still click and I go outside and it doesn't look nice. And there is this other thing which we call AJAXification. Let me see if there's a method for that. It's not great. So I'll just type it from scratch. Let me see where we have the menu. That's our menu. Okay, so let's add menu.js. And now we are interested for the links which are inside the menu. So what I'm gonna do is I will use the selector. First is a menu name, and because it's ID, I'll need to prepend it with a hash, and then I'll put space, and I want links which is like A. So I want to select this link. Okay, then I need to set an event, click here. So when any of the link inside the menu is clicked, I will call unique redirect. Okay, now what's the argument? And the arguments need to be taken from the ref property. So again, menu.js. This time I will use selector this enter ref. Okay, and we'll make sure if it works or not, and then I will explain to you what happens there in reality. Import screen. 62. Okay, let's see if this works. And there's some menu GS. Yeah, I think I need to put page here because redirect is somehow acting differently. Okay, let's see if it actually uses AJAX or not. No, it does not, it says. I'm just trying to figure out what happens here. Because it looks like that it actually performs properly. Yeah, it works fine. Awesome. Looks very good. So now we have a menu. This is standard menu. This menu never meant to be used like that. It's AJAX menu. But when I click on those things, it sends additional requests. So we can look at individual request items, by umbrella. So it loads all this, and it happens with AJAX. And I was confused at first because I actually changed the URL and it looks so nice. But like as a proof that it's not actually refreshing the page, you can see that this menu CMS is still highlighted. So it simply didn't refresh the menu. And ideally, what do we need to do? Probably do the attribute here, like the page. We need also to remove the class and give the class to another menu. But I will not go into this. We were doing that in some of the projects using a widget for the menu. So, and you click on an item, the item is being highlighted, the other item loses focus, and then we call a page of the graph, which loads the actual page. So that is what I have to tell you about the dynamic page loading. If I refresh, again it works fine, and only the focus is not following. All right, let's see if there are any questions. Any questions, Bob?
I think Addons is writing right now.
Mm-hmm. And then plus 10. Yeah, it's a pretty cool stuff. Like, and it isn't pretty advanced stuff. So, but it was really simple to set it up, and I think now if it's that simple, you might be able to turn it on inside your application and simply use it.
Yeah, definitely. I think at least for me, I need first more experience on this to understand really how it works. But this tutorial is nice.
Good. In YouTube, I'll definitely put some pauses in video. Yeah, speaking of the videos and YouTube, I'm currently going through all of our Hangouts and re-encoding them, and I'll put them inside a torrent file, and I'll publish the download link, so you could, I think we'll have like 10 episodes so far. So that's the first 10 episodes you'll be able to download, and there are some of you who wanted to remix them and split them into maybe slower, like, I don't know to do what. Yeah, it is in very good quality. It is a high quality, so it's basically exactly the same format I'm uploading for YouTube. So yeah, if you put together a couple of tutorials yourself out of my videos, awesome, why not? And finally, what I'm saying, if you think you wanted me to do some custom segment on a certain feature, I don't mind. Just tell me what needs to be explained, or what kind of example I need to produce, and I can record it and give you the video. Or maybe you want a whole bunch of topics covered. Fine, I can record those as a video. Next, I wanted to do another thing, and I haven't been preparing for this. But I want to do it anyway, and I have been looking for jQuery, and probably you as well, TimePicker. And we have DatePicker, and then everyone is happy, but jQuery doesn't have a default TimePicker. So how do we do it? How do we have a nice TimePicker? And there are a couple of TimePickers we could look at, and let's look at them and decide which is good and then try to use it. So I didn't prepare for that. And this is the first one, which I don't really like much. I saw it before, and it has those ugly sliders in there, which kind of let us do it. But I need to drag, and I need to click there. I don't like this add-on, to be honest. So I looked more for some other ones. This is pretty cool one. So I click and I can select it. It is a jQuery TimePicker, so it's not jQuery UI, which means if we put it on a page like this, and we navigate from one page to another, perhaps it will leave like a shadow of itself. So I'm not sure. We can try and see how it behaves. Let's try in here. So what happens if this input suddenly gone? Bang, and you see this remains. This is because it's not designed to properly destruct itself. So that's the downside of the regular jQuery add-ons. If it's jQuery UI, it usually plays a bit nicer. Let's try the same thing with this one. Okay, come on, show me yourself. So input. Nope, it is exactly the same. But maybe it's because I'm using the expector. I'm not sure. But let's put it on the page and see if it works properly. Speaking of which, let's start by I have a form already. So how about I add a date field here. Date. Okay, we have date. I think I needed to say date picker. Okay, we have it. Now it is clever because when I click the link here, it hides. Okay. Anyway, let's try to add another field and see if we could use that the time picker from this other example. Yeah. View source. So how do we include it? And I thought, like, I don't want to copy the files here. Let me just see the source of this and use the full URL to load it. TimePicker. So that's the file we need. So I'm going to copy this URL, and I'm adding just a line field here, test2, and I need to enhance it with a date picker. So I'm calling GS true. Load this URL, and then I need to call TimePicker. Let's see if this will work. Okay, nope, because we had some error. X just a break cannot load. Okay, let's do it slightly differently. And this PAGS GUI let's try add include, and then if that wouldn't work, we'll try add static include. Okay. Okay, it doesn't work. Let's try with static include. That's the reason why it doesn't work is because it's located on a different domain. Nice. We have so it works. It just we don't have the CSS of it. So let's see how we can get the CSS. And jQuery tape picker. Again, I won't copy it. I'll simply try to include here. I think there was a fix for CSS that it can be loaded like that. Maybe not. Okay, so converting is and semicolon. Nope. So it doesn't like it because it tries to find it locally on the server. Okay, so if all of that fails, we could just resort to something drastic like this and simply change our template of the API to include the necessary file. But I wouldn't recommend this. It's better if you report a bug and the bug would be fixed, and then the proper call could be used instead. Okay, let's see if this will work. And it works, and we have a CSS here. Now let me try to go to another page. Back, still works. Now if I go to index and refresh it here, go to page number 2, and it's not working. The reason why it's not working is because we did include it statically and it wasn't loaded, because we kind of loaded the center using the AJAX. That's why it wasn't able to evaluate this. So what are the options? The first option is we take this stuff over here and move it into our front end. So put it somewhere, let's say somewhere here. So now if I go to, okay, it still works. If I go to index page, refresh it, go to page number 2, then it works, and all the files are preloaded. But the problem is now when I request even the first page, if I'm here, it will load. It will load those JavaScripts from the other server, and in some cases that's fine. So if you know you're going to be you will need to load it at some point, then it's appropriate. So we could leave it like this. But in some cases, you might say, why do I need that? Let's try something else again. So this time I'm going to, yeah, let's try to put the files locally. I'm going to go to my templates file. What is the GS? Should be GS file. And I will download the CSS file, and I will download the jQuery TimePicker as well. Now, both files are saved locally. There they are. And I will undo this. I will undo that, and yeah, so now I don't need to specify the full URL. I just need to specify the jQuery UI, and I don't even need to specify the GS. So that's all I need to do. Let's see how this will look like. Go to page number 2, and you see that it actually loaded dynamically. Let me do the same thing with CSS now. jQuery TimePicker. Yeah, it wouldn't work like that because it expects CSS to be in a different folder. But there's a way around it. So I don't remember how. Okay, never mind that. Well, I can either simply put it inside the CSS folder there. Oh no, it was fine. Hold on a second. So it looked inside templates.js. Why it failed to load this? jQuery TimePicker CSS. Oh, it's because it's inside ADK4. I see. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So anyway, I need to go to the front end and add another folder where the CSS file will be loaded from, which will be templates.js. I'll just tell him that inside that folder there might be some CSS files. So now it loads fine, and it loads good here as well. Now I'm going back to the index page now, so we're doing the same test. Let me turn on the log of all requests. Yeah, so we'll see what's going to happen. I'm going to page 1 first, only the page loaded. Now I'm going to page 2. You see it loaded TimePicker, the CSS file, and the form, and it works fine. So that's a dynamic. Loading of a completely unrelated jQuery UI, and there you see the bug. So it remained. I clicked on the button, it went away, but this thing stayed because we're dealing with the jQuery add-on and not jQuery UI add-on. So how to get it off? Come on, go away. Yeah, fine. The only way. Anyway, this is a pretty cool stuff. So again, I'll explain to you why it wasn't possible to load it dynamically when it was on the other guy's server. And it is because when I click here, it uses the dynamic requests to load additional data. And the page is not displayed. We need to hold off the execution of JavaScript until the JavaScript file is actually loaded. Now, because the JavaScript is located on other server, we cannot include it directly. So we cannot use it loaded with AJAX, because it would be like cross-domain request, which is not permitted. The other way is if I include a script header inside the our file, and it would load it manually, in which case I won't be able to trigger anything when the script is finished loading. So this is a kind of problem with no obvious way how to work around it. So right now, if you need that to work on your server, its best way is simply to put it inside a local local folder. And I would say, since we have still a little bit of time, let's wrap this one, the TimePicker, inside an add-on, and share with you guys. And maybe, if some of you is willing to contribute to it or use it, you will be able to do it. Okay. So I'll start by creating a new repository here. Meanwhile, any questions at all? Is everything clear?
Yes, I think everything is clear. I don't see also questions from the other developers.
Nice. When it's clear, it's very good. So we'll call it ATK4 TimePicker. Let's use name like that. And I'll put it under ATK4. Or should it be just TimePicker? Okay, let's say you okay, and change the location, Hangouts, go there, come on. Lost found. TimePicker. Oh no, that's too much. Okay, that should be fine. Push to GitHub, yes. Team. Yeah, we have already some add-on contributors, so you'll be able to create repository. Okay. So now I need to move the files here. JS. And I suppose now it could be as simple as just putting all the files here. Form field.
So there's a good point about about the naming convention for add-ons. So there's suggestions for addons. To have a naming convention for add-ons, or is there something already in place for that? Or
no, the idea is right now we're using ATK for add-ons as a repository. So I usually check it out from the GitHub and populates. But the convention would be that that folder would be populated with all sorts of add-ons, and I would simply either use a script to update all them, or I would use a UI interface which would update them. So ATK4 add-ons will not be associated with the GitHub anymore, but it will be associated with several GitHubs or maybe several add-ons, and would be able to update and them in a nice way. So you could say like get all the stable versions and it will download them. Some people will use GitHub to publish them, other people will use something else. So we need a nice updater for that, which will upload them.
yes, because the current ATK4 add-ons, it is not possible to add one add-on by myself, because the next time I refresh the ATK4 add-ons to get the latest version, then the ones I added myself are gone.
For now, suggestion is to create a folder like add-ons or my add-ons. We have my add-ons here, and that would be your own folder, and you could put as many add-ons you want inside there, and it's up to you when you update them.
Yeah, exactly. So then I can, for example, have a submodule which is the autocomplete, and this one the TimePicker, and so on.
Yeah. There is a way how we will resolve the namespaces. So as you know, if you create add-on in your namespace, no one else really can create add-ons in the same namespace. So there's going to be a way how we will be able to do it properly, and just by registering it on the side. And so you register it for your account, and other people, others will not be able to reuse the same name. Okay, well, more about that later. So for now, let me just form field. Okay, just the standard stuff. Okay, let's see what's here. Enable to include TimePicker. I will need to add current folder. Found TimePicker. Oh, it's called ATK4 TimePicker. Yeah, the problem, I see the problem. We can't use dashes. We could do something like that. And again, the namespace will work as well. I will probably change it to TimePicker. Now, jQuery UI needs jQuery UI. So simply and jQuery UI TimePicker. What is need jQuery TimePicker? Because I have moved the files, that's why. I will need to extend it, the folders for the locations. Then location, addons, okay, good. JS would be in a current folder. And I'll put it first. Oops. Okay. Now it looks inside slash templates the CSS. We need also one for CSS, which is a current folder as well. Nice. So it loaded the files, but it didn't enhance that field. So I'll need to move these things inside TimePicker. Okay, awesome. We have a working addon. Now, to make it even more awesome, let's pass options. These options, public, which is enable default. Okay. Now, what kind of options can I do? Scroll, set default now, set current time. Okay, let's try this. Min time, max time, short duration. Yeah, let's try this option. So I'm not going to be putting that inside the add-on. Instead, in here, I need. Now it's a tricky one. Yeah. So how do we pass this option? Because the option is used inside init, we need to specify it before the init. We need to try to say array inside here, and this will be name. Let's see if it still works. Oops, not this one. And yeah, we need to specify label, otherwise it looks at the label. Test 3. Good, yes, so that works. Continues to work. And now, because we changed the name to the array, we can add additional options inside here. Okay, nope, not working. I see, because we need to say options. Okay, and then this thing comes, and then we're closing it down. Okay, what about now? And there we go. Nice. Extensible add-on with a bundled JavaScript, whatever thing. All right, so yeah, the only thing probably I should do is rename it from ATK4 add-on into ATK4 TimePicker simply into TimePicker, so it will be easier for you to use, and no need to put ATK4 in front. Question from Wimans, he's asking, question unrelated to ATK4 but to Sublime Editor. How you search for phrase inside all files in your project? you're doing that all the time. I'm not searching for phrase. I'm searching for it's in file names. Like when I press Command P and I start typing test, then it searches for all the files and also gives them some sort of score, whichever file matches best. Say that, I have to say that for my primary editor, the one I'm actually using for work, I've gone back to Vim because it's faster, and I have adjusted it slightly, and so I'm basically doing the same things in there. Wasn't found. So I still have this capability to search for things. Test, yeah, so I can find stuff for that. Open, there's lines in there. There is all sorts of things in here. And the enhancement I used on top of that was Janus. Janus is a collection of Vim plugins and add-ons, which is pretty easy to install. You simply have a execute this line over here, this one, and it bootstraps itself and gives you a pretty decent enhancement for Vim. And then many different cool add-ons included. For searching is a Control P. There's nerd commander. Nerd tree, nerd command, leader N. Let me try that. Yeah, so I couldn't browse in things here and now open them like that. Obviously use the mouse as well. So it's faster for me, and I like the way how it does folding. Model table. Yeah, so the folding can be managed like this. So we're having opening and closing bracket, really nice, nice outline. Then what else do we have? The Git support, pretty awesome stuff. So let me show you. GL. So this captures all the what was it? I'm not sure how to set up, but it has a really nice tutorials, and it basically allows me to browse Git repository. And also, yeah, there was a way how to show some stuff on the right. Pretty powerful. Many interesting enhancements in there. Now I'm still learning Vim, and Sublime is good, but code indentation is not ideal. It's much better supported than Vim. And when I'm doing podcasts, you will often notice that it's slowing me down. Now I start typing and now it's not finding the files. Like now I open up, it takes a while until it loads, and so on and so on. But Vim is quicker. Yeah, and this Janus is not the only package for Vim add-ons. There are some additional ones as well. Okay, so I think we are at our time limit. Maybe some additional general questions.
Romans, a little question about the AJAX you mentioned here.
Mm-hmm.
is a similar thing also possible with the tabs? I mean, the tabs, can you also do the history on top of the page for tabs that you?
Yeah, I was looking for tabs, and the thing is, tabs are implemented inside jQuery UI, and jQuery UI handles the loading of them, so it's not even using ADK for loader, and it is a pretty big problem for us because we simply cannot do many things, but it kind of works. So if you look for jQuery UI tabs hash or maybe history API, possibly there is something. I'd say it needs to be hash because we already have history API for the pages. Hash, okay, hash change or something. So you need to kind of put some sort of JavaScript in there to enable it. Yeah, you see the kind of supports up there. Now if I refresh that, I have a chicken. And yeah, it even supports multiple. Cool, pretty nice. So how do they do that? Like advanced window, basic on screen change. And then there's a code, you need the default tabs and there is like event change, so what are you doing there? Close this tab. So if you can copy that inside, like wrap inside your own implementation of a tab, there's a bunch of things in there.
Okay.
I'm pretty
okay,
sure.
But currently it does not. It is not supported like this, right?
It's not a built-in thing because it's not a built-in thing inside the jQuery UI. If you look for jQuery tabs on the nice new homepage, it's still the same thing, and none of the examples are actually using hash. But you can script it. You could. So this is not working. But you can script. You can add them. Basically, it's pretty easy to do it. So yeah, well, I just did a Google for. It remembers all the manipulation in tabs. I don't like when it actually remembers each page. So if on refresh, yeah, it should probably record the current tab, but it shouldn't remember 20 different clicks on different tabs. I mean, why?
No, I agree.
And the back also is not. It's not the concept which people understand. jQuery UI implemented new widgets. One of them is menu. That sucks big time. Why menu sucks? It's just a UI thing. I think they're using for autocompletes. It's like if you go for autocomplete, I'm pretty sure that they're using the same UI in there. So it looks like a menu. It's there. I see menus is pretty generically, used on, like anyone can come up with their own menu. It doesn't need the jQuery UI for that. Also, it's interesting that in jQuery UI, the most demanded feature is grid. What the people are thinking? Like, there's a lot of grid implementations already, and then they're powerful, they're big, there are a lot of features inside all of them, and I wouldn't want default grid. It shouldn't be in default installation. Yeah, in tooltips are pretty good, and we did use them somewhere. It's bad they don't have this the arrow thing. So it shows a tooltip, but there is no arrow saying like, it's about this or that. Yeah, it looks good, but it's might be a bit nicer, I think. But it's fine. We can use them in the default combination. What else? Yeah, on the menu. Yeah, you probably already know. It's let me go back to lost and found. So if I go to the playground project, playground page, there is like a menu implementation here at the bottom. This one. So it has shadow, it has icons, looks nice, and it doesn't take any JavaScript to implement it. Maybe or maybe not. I'm not entirely sure if there is a JavaScript or not. And obviously, it could be a part of grid, but it's not there yet, because if someone will implement the column like this, now it's possible to do it as an add-on. I'm pretty sure I will use it because it is cool, but it just disappears here. It's not 100% usable. Okay, let's wrap this up. So it was nice to see you, everyone. Come again next week.